This conference will now be recorded.
So let me start with my stuff. What is process? Basically, I'm splitting RPA into three terms. One is process, another one is automation, another one is RPA, process auto robotic. Or you got my point. So what is process? Any company, if you go, any BPO process you go, like they will have sequence of activities. Example, creating a bank account. You are trying to go to the bank and trying to create an account in the bank. Have you got my point? So what is your first step? You will go to the bank. You are asking a person, executive of a bank employee, asking them, saying that, boss, I want to create a account. What they will do immediately? Can you provide all the necessary information to us? Am I right or wrong?
Yep.
So basically, they will go and they will try to. 1 second, some disturbance is coming in the screens. Okay, fine. So basically, this is the way people will go and they will create a bank account and they want to perform some activities like bank executive asking you some document in terms of PAN card or in terms of any document related to your household properties like Aadhaar card. These information they will collect and they will give a form where you will fill and you will give submit to the bank. What bank actually does is in the back end, they will record all the information. A presentation I will give you, don't worry. Okay, all the presentations notes I will give you, don't worry. No need to write and all, just listen. I will send you through email, no problem. Okay. So basically, what happened? Like bank employees will back end, they will go and they will collect all the information, feed into a system called CR, which is called as a customer relationship management system. It could be developed in any technology. For feeding that, they need a BPO executives. Correct me if I'm wrong. So those BPO executives will fill and verify, and finally they will create a bank account in the midnight. So that is called a process. Now what RPA, what is automation is basically like without human intervention to perform any activity on an application is known as automation. Forget about automation on application. Take a fridge or take a washing machine or take a electric cooker. What basically what washing machine will do? Initially, human manually will wash the clothes. Now automation with the help of washing machine, it will automatically done all those things. Finally, you just take it and you have to iron it and wear it. That is how the washing machine is. Basically, in the household itself, there was an automation. Similar fashion, in a software application, any Java application or .NET application or any banking application, instead of human entering that, a robot is going to sit on top of that. It is going to perform an activity that is called as robotic process automation. Any doubt in this? For example, I have a robot, I have a software, a web application, or you got my point. I want to feed data into that application. I got some 1,000 records. I will deploy an employee. That employee is going to enter manually. Instead, I create a software robot. Instead of that employee, this software robot will go and interact with the application and try to feed the data into it. Or you got my point? So that is meant by RPA. Now you understand what is RPA? If you understand, say yes. If you don't understand, say no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because
yes, Nare. Yeah, please go on. Yeah.
yeah, fine. So this is the activities which we will perform. So if you look into this slide, RPA stands for robotic process automation, sequence of activities to be performed without human intervention. Without human intervention while accessing an application as an end user. It is not like a development perspective, it is an end user perspective. A person who is going to access the application, he doesn't know which technology that application has been developed. He doesn't know what is the database or data where it will store and all. He is the person as a layman, he tried to access that application. You got my point? So that kind of applications which will help to create a robot using automation anywhere tool is known as robotic process automation, RPA. I got my point. Say this is the exact definition. Any activity or how many number of activities to be performed without human intervention while accessing an application as an end user. While accessing an application as an end user to create a robot using Blue Prism tool is known as RPA. Okay. Any doubts? Now see what is application. These are all the basic information. Those who are not in the IT background, I am explaining this. Those who are in IT background, I am not explaining this, which because these people, these are all the things which people already knows. I'm just giving an overview of understanding what is application. What is application? We all talk about different things, right? What is application? What is all these things, right? So what is application in your perspective? Can you tell me, anyone? Anyone can tell me what is application? Not in a technical perspective. Be as a end user perspective, what is basically an application?
A system which helps to do your business as usual.
Okay. See, application, what you said is right. Okay. See, application, if you take a calculator, let me show you. This is my calculator. Okay. I can say calculator is an application.
Yes.
Calculator is an application because it will help you to calculate something. Instead of human is going to manually write and do something, with this calculator, I can do some calculation. Got my point? So that is why calculator is an application. You got my point? So what is the rules which are available in this calculator? Addition. Plus is one of the rule, which will basically add two numbers. Subtraction is another rule, which is basically subtracting two numbers. Multiply is another rule, which basically multiplication of two numbers. Division is another rule, which will basically divide by numbers. You got my point? So now to form a calculator, I had all the four rules combined together and created an application. You got my point? Similar way, when you try to develop any software application, these applications are combined or set of rules combined together to form an application is known as application. So that is what it is. I can show you. Set of rules combined together to create an application. Now there are two ways applications can be classified. One is front-end application, another one is back-end application. Those who are technical, they will understand. Those who are non-technical, they can understand with this slide. Okay, I can explain each one. What is front-end application? For example, calculator. Calculator is an application which I can visualize and I can interact. Whereas there are some third-party services is running outside. I will show you some services. These are all the services running backend, which I cannot able to visualize. But when you switch on the computer, automatically these services are running. See here the status running. I got my point. So these are also called as an application, but These are back-end applications which we cannot able to visualize. Or you got my point? What is front-end application? MS Word, MS Excel, PowerPoint, or any web application. Assume google.com is one of the web application where Flipkart, you always try to access some data, where try to access some products. All these are called as web applications. Now, if you see here, the application which has been installed in a single computer can be accessed within the same computer is known as desktop or standalone application. Example, a calculator we have. Can you access my system calculator in your machine? You cannot, right? Only that calculator will access only within that computer. It will not access outside the computer. That means we can call that application as a either desktop or standalone application. I got my point. So any application which will access in a single computer or which will be installed in a single computer will be known as desktop or standalone application. Windows is one of the application. Mobile devices. For example, I have mobile. I'm installing GoToMeeting. Can I access the same GoToMeeting in your system? Mobile? No. You have to download. You have to install. I got my point. So this is called as desktop application. Till then, any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Now, one is command prompt application. Command prompt application is nothing but this is the one. We can say backlady. Anything related to here, we can access, right? This is called as command prompt application. I got my point. Another one is client server application. Client server application is nothing but application which has been installed in a computer can be accessed by multiple users. Can be accessed by multiple users is known as client server application, which is called as facebook.com or bing.com or anything Flipkart or anything, a web-based application. For example, you are also access the URL of flipkart.com. I can also access the flipkart.com, but the main actual server will be reside in one desktop machine. Or you got my point? So you don't know where it is coming from. Application has been installed in one computer, can be accessed by multiple computer is known as client server application. The next one is backend application. Application which has been installed on a single computer can be accessed by any other database is known as backend application. You cannot able to visualize. I showed you Windows services. You cannot able to visualize, but it will access by another application. Or you got my point? One front-end application is there. Take an example of Facebook or Flipkart. You are trying to enter some data. When you click on a button, that data will be stored in a database. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anything you enter in any application will go and store in a database. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I right or wrong? Hello?
Right.
So when you are storing data into the database, will you able to visualize the database? You cannot, because that database will be residing somewhere. I got my point. Only the front end application you can able to visualize, where the data will be stored in somewhere. Whenever you require, you can pull the data. I got my point. So here I can say my database is a backend application. Am I right or wrong? Anything we are talking as a database, anything we are talking as a service, anything we are talking as a Windows service or web services will be treated as a backend application. Clear my point? So this is called application introduction. Any layman, whoever doesn't understand the basic concept of application, you can understand with this slide. Clear my point? Okay. Can I go for the next slide? Can I go for?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, Naren,
So
please.
now what is RPA? Where this RPA is going to fit? Now look into this. See, this is the basic process of RPA. What this one will do is, you are going to start, bot is going to read an email. An email can has an attachment. What happened? Bot is going to read that attachment in an Excel, and again it is going to enter data, and then it will put into a database or in an application. If it is everything works well, then fine. If not, error will be escalated to the end user. That is called basic RPA execution. Any RPA means, see, as a human or in a company or organization, you will go to the base place. What you will do? Hello?
Yes, Naren.
Aravind,
Yeah.
are you there?
There, Naren, I'm there. Yeah.
I think you are disabled the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm there, Naren.
So basically, you understand this flow chart, what this explaining?
Yeah.
Whatever human does, human is going to do the same a software robot is going to do. What the software robot is going to do? Basically, there is an email box which every day some feeds are coming in. Or you got my point? So
Correct.
human will manually read that email, download those attachments. Attachments contain some Excel data. That data will be feeding into an application. If there is no error occurs, then the data will be passed it on to the next level. If there is an error occur, then it will go as an escalation mode. Or you got my point? The same way, robot is going to read the email, open the attachment, then immediately enter the data from the ERP system. And when I'm entering, if there is no error occurs, I can directly say yes, the data has been successful. If there is an error not occur, I will try to implement send it to the different team, asking them to evaluate it. I got my point. This is the basic funda and idea of RPA. You can use any tool. Use a RPA tool like OpenSpan, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath. No worry at all. End of the day, this is the structural information what RPA wants. It may have 200 steps. It may have 200 rules. I least bother. Complete step by step. Find the output. That is called RPA. Complete step by step process. If you are moving from one step to another step, first you have to ensure the step one is positive or negative. Let me show you in more detail. Let's take this as an example. First step, what? Access email inbox. I'm just giving a scenario. Okay, try to understand. Accessing the email inbox. What will happen? What could be positive and what could be negative for this scenario? Anyone can tell me?
So either we can able to access the email or we might not able to access.
Pass means
authentication.
Email accessed. What is my next step? Fail means
Escalate.
Email not accessed. Escalate to concerned department. Am I right or wrong? I'm going to escalate it to the concerned department. Okay. So if I'm escalating to the concerned department, what will happen? Stop the process. because I cannot able to proceed further. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not able to read the email. I'm not able to access the email. What I will do for the next step? I cannot do anything, right? I will stop the process until and unless you are able to access it, then only you can proceed further. Clear?
Yes.
Now the next point is, what is the next point? Open the attachment from the email. Okay, this is the basic requirement gathering of RPA. I'm not telling how RPA works. I'm telling
So,
basic steps
Naren,
to proceed to get the RPA. Yeah. Go ahead, Arvind.
in the step 1.2, you mentioned escalate to concerned department, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that is a different step. How do you deal about that one? See,
Different step in the sense.
if you are unable to access the email, escalation is another process indeed. In other words, you know. So how do you connect that here, right? If possibly a ticket has to be made.
See, escalation has some set of process, right? You will create a separate track of process. You will call that process by passing a consent parameters.
Possibly a ticket has to be raised, so that could be one escalation.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we'll be having a separate process for that. We'll be including
You
that
will
process.
invoke that process. Yes, you will try to invoke that process. Technically speaking, when you go into come again.
Yeah, please carry on. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. When you technically speaking, you will write everything as a different files. Okay. So this negative scenario stop the process, which will be an independent functionality. So wherever you want, you will call that.
Okay. Right.
Even what you said is it will initiate the process, means there is a separate process already developed and it is working fine for other process. Now you are just going to call that.
Okay.
That is how it is.
Right.
That is a solution architect will define.
Right.
How it has to be invoked and what are all the values need to be invoked. Everything will be defined by solution architect.
Okay. So when you're collecting the requirement, will you say when you're collecting the requirement, possibly, I mean, I look at this escalate as 1.2.1 invoke escalation process. So will that be a fair requirement? You can
create as 1.2.1 invoke escalation process.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
It depends on, while gathering the requirement, you have to understand.
Right.
So the next one is open the attachment of Excel. Not Excel. What is the most worst positive case? Attachment opened successfully, correct? If not opened, what will happen? Again, a negative scenario. Like that, when you do any process, step 1, step 2, step 3. Once this is when I say step 1, you have to complete this entire flow.
Okay.
Then only you have to proceed for the second flow. If you are not completing this, and if you are coming here, your bot will get failed, or your RPA will get failed. Or you got my point? So if you look into the demonstration of, yes, someone is asking something. Hello.
Yeah, Narendra.
Will you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Go ahead.
Aravind?
No, I'm good, Naren. Yeah, please go on.
Ashish?
And
yeah, I'm fine.
Naren, one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any specific? Do you have any specific way for any any templates or any materials for collecting these requirements? See, for example, when I'm going for any requirement gathering,
I had. Don't worry.
so how do you document this process?
Yeah, I have certain documents with me. After getting into the classes, I will provide you. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
This is a demo session. Once the demo over, once you all get into the classes, I will provide those one. Don't worry.
No problem.
Okay. All set of documents will be provided. Don't worry. How to manage, how to create a solution design document, everything will be provided. Even you can also visualize the solution design document. What all the information need to be captured, how it has to be captured, and all. The standard format of design document will be given to you.
Okay.
It has with me.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, thank you, Nani.
What about Kishore? Kishore, are you able to understand?
Okay. Yes, I am understanding. Tell me.
Okay. Mumtaz?
Yes, sir, I'm good.
Mutturaj? Mutturaj?
Yes.
Who's this? Okay. Purushothaman?
Yeah, Narendra.
Sandeep? Vijay?
Yes, I'm able to understand it.
Fine. So these are all the way you have to identify the requirement and you have to go with all these things. Okay. Do you have any doubts and everything? We can discuss. Anything on this we can discuss. Okay. Now I'm going into the next session, next presentation. This is my RPA futures. Any tool you use, this is the basic points which will be covered by RPA. What is that first point? It will work as a end user perspective. You should not think as a technical perspective. Always you think as an end user perspective. For example, I will tell you end user perspective. In my home, I'm trying to use Gmail or I'm accessing some website. It will take some delay. Whereas in your office, it will take fraction of seconds. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
So, if you are not thinking as an end user, I will tell you one point. What will happen if I'm trying to open the URL, immediately I'm trying to entering data. What will happen? Say I open a URL, immediately I'm trying to enter data. What will happen? Whether page loaded or not, I'm not able to visualize it. What will happen? Anything will get failed. Am I right or wrong? So I will prove you. I think everybody is not understanding. I'm putting google.com. It is taking some time. Am I right or wrong? So I know as a user, page was not loaded. Page was not loaded. If it is a bot, well, bot should know that whether page is loaded or not. It doesn't understand, right? So you have to control the bot in such a way that it has to wait until this page has been loaded. You got my point? Human, I know, okay, it takes some time to loading. Whereas software bots, it doesn't understand whether it is loaded or not. Software bots doesn't understand whether it is loaded or not. I got my point. So how to identify that? I think we spoke, remember yesterday or day before yesterday, Aravind?
Yeah,
Most of the 80 RPA projects got failed.
Correct.
This is the reason. They will construct only positive cases. If you see here, they will only think about positive. They never think about this negative. I got my point. But
Got it.
when you are constructing the step, you should have both positive and negative. If browser is not loaded, what will happen? You will not find an element or a text box in the browser.
Correct.
And you are trying to enter the data. What will happen? Exception will be occurred.
Correct.
And your bot will get failed. Because it is not identifying an object. So you have to make sure a proper delay in terms of dynamic delay or in terms of static delay, and make sure until and unless the page has been loaded, I have to process. That is the very first point. You have to think as an end user perspective, not as a technical perspective. And RPA increased productivity because a human can do in 10 minutes, can be do it in 5 minutes. RPA can do in 5 minutes. Because human required some visualization, data scrapping, everything. Here nothing, everything is a software bot. So everything is predefined. Fat. If the page is loaded, immediately it will process. Or you got my point? So RPA increase the productivity.
Okay.
The more productivity has been increased, cost will be reduced of an organization. If I'm putting a human, I'm telling you this is how it is. How many shifts per day? How many shifts can I have per day? 3 shifts.
Yes.
I'm recruiting a person of $1,200, assume. Into 3, how much it is? Value? $3,600. $600. I got my point. My bot license is per month. Assume some $2,000. How much is the saving?
$1,600.
Per month, $1,600. If I have 10 systems and 10 bot licenses, how much I'm saving?
$16,000.
So in a month, $16,000 means in a year, how much is saving?
Near around
$48,000, something. Some X or Y,
more.
some number. So it is a benefit to the organization or not?
Yes.
So that is the main reason people are moving into RPA. With these 3 statements, I can say why RPA is more important. Now, RPA always does repetitive tasks. Don't think that something, for example, in the bank, creating of bank account, I told you, right? In the bank account, you are trying to make a judgment saying that whether I need to create an account or not, or whether I need to approve the loan or not. These are all the tasks are judgmental tasks, which RPA cannot do, which is required a human intervention. Am I right or wrong? Hello?
Yes,
Approving
yes.
the loan, only human can does.
Decision
Creating an
making.
account or not, only human can does. Remaining people cannot able to do it. I got my point. So can I do only a repetitive task? For example, I got 1,000 accounts to be created in the same day. If I put some 20 people and they have to manually do it. If I place a software robot, what will happen? Everything will be taken care by bot. Within a fraction of each minute, one particular account will be created dynamically. Am I right or wrong? So can I go for RPA or I can go for human? Which one is best?
RPA is the best option.
RPA is the best.
But
Time saving.
time saving, everything is there. But one more point I will tell you. Anything can be judgmental, will not be happen with the help of RPA. Anything can be judgmental, will not be happen with the help of RPA. You can make a task, but you cannot able to make a judgment.
Hi Narendra, can AI, artificial intelligence, can work for the decision making with the bots?
See, intelligence is totally different. I will tell you. I will come to that point later point of time. I will come to that. Where you have to implement artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence by default, Vijay?
It says that what a person can think, the system can also think in a manner. The
No. You are absolutely wrong. What person, human thinkable capability. See, basically, artificial intelligence is nothing but a data massaging. Neural networks, artificial intelligence. I have a huge unstructured data is there. You got my point. You are talking about machine learning concepts. Machine learning is what basically does is data massaging is doing, and they're coming with some sampling ratios. You got my point. So, say by seeing a number, you are deciding that whether I need to approve the loan or not. Whether artificial intelligence will does that, it cannot, right?
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
But what artificial intelligence will do is a data which was not in a structured format. That's what I told you. I will come to the point. If you see the last before point, RPA reads only structured documents. A document which has been written in a handwritten. Or you got my point? A people has been made a signature. A signature can be read by RPA. But with the help of artificial intelligence, I can write the signature. Hello?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, possible.
Okay, with the help of artificial intelligence, I can read the signature. But RPA can only read a structured document. For example, I have an Excel, which is a structured and defined document. Yes, with the help of RPA, I can do that. If it is an unstructured data, what will happen? I have to go for artificial intelligence. That's why Automation Anywhere will have a concept called IQ bot. I will come to that point into the features of RPA. The next presentation will be that. Let me complete this feature, then we can go there. 99, I will not say any RPA products will be 100%. Any software application or any software, you cannot say 99.9, 100% accurate. Always it will be a best practice to become a 99.9% accurate. Am I right or wrong, Arvind?
Correct.
Okay, so that's why this is one of the point I added. Finally, RPA bots can perform large number of operation in a parallel handling automation of desktop application Excel to any kind of applications. There could be 1,000 bots we can deploy in a single room and we can run the operation. I got my point. So that is the RPA future. Do you have any doubt in this future? See, if at all, if you are not understanding these futures, going into RPA next part, useless. The very first part is
what?
Go ahead. Somebody is talking.
So what is bot? You're mentioning all the time bot. What
Bot
is
is nothing
bot?
but a software bot. I will explain. Do you remember here in my very first slide? Create a robot. We will call it as bot. Software industry people will call it as bot. Software robots will be called it as bot. That is my definition. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So this is the one. So anything will be called it as a software bot, will be called it as a robot, will be called it as a bot.
Okay.
Now the disadvantages: 100% automation not possible. If there is any change in an application, in an accessing application, RPA fails. I will tell you. There is a software bot which already in production. There is application which already in production. You got my point. A slight of changes in the application, saying that instead of save button, can I have some other button for a business criteria? You got my point. For the production purpose or a business purpose, they are changing the UI. Will my RPA work or not? Software bot will work or not? You are not understanding my point. See, in this calculator, equal to symbol is here. I'm moving this equal to symbol somewhere here. I got my point. But bot will only understand equal here. It will not understand equal here. What will happen? My bot will get failed. If there is any change in this UI element, automatically my bot will get failed. Clear my point?
Yeah.
That is the
So
disadvantage.
when structured, you said RPA will understand only structured documents. So if you disturb any structure, so it won't work.
No. Structured document is nothing but data. I'm not talking about application. Application is
Okay.
something different. Data is something different.
So I think,
Whatever I talked as a structure, which will be called it as a structured data and unstructured data.
so
So
the
here
handwritten
the example.
documents.
Come again?
Yeah. So here in example, you said you took calculator, right? So you moved that equal symbol to somewhere else. So because of that,
Exactly.
it is not taking. So the
Yes.
the structure has been disturbed there.
Yes. The design structure has been disturbed.
Okay. So
The
in that
moment
cases,
you are,
RPA will work. Okay.
it won't work because my bot will only looking for here. Because I trained the bot in such a way that here there is a equal symbol. If you are moving here, what will happen? Bot doesn't understand where the equal is available. Here,
Yeah.
so that is the problem. Any doubts?
So when you say unstructured format, Narendra, one thing which come across my mind is some handwritten document. It is an unstructured
Exactly.
format.
Exactly.
Other than that, do we have any other unstructured format?
See,
even
anything and yeah, go ahead.
okay, if my handwritten document is scanned and it is converted as PDA, and I am asking my board to upload the data that is available in the scanned piece of PDF, will that be called as an unstructured data or a structured data?
It is an unstructured data, right? Because handwritten will not understand by RPA. Only with the help
No,
of
I'm
only with the help
okay.
of OCR, where you will
Okay.
read the data. Okay. If OCR, if the data is good, and it will try to identify, but how to convert that into actual text is very difficult, right?
Okay, fine. Okay, even if I convert my handwritten document into a scanned piece of PDF or other kind of JPEG or whatever it is, again it will be called
It's
as an
difficult.
unstructured form. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So you said about OCR, right? That object category recognition or whatever it is.
Optical character recognition.
Optical character recognition. Even in
Character
that,
recognition.
optical character recognition. Sorry to pronounce it. So, I mean that also plays the role of an I mean, what does it do? This optical character recognition, like
Say in year 2004 onwards, there is a software called Albi.
okay.
Abby. You
Mhm.
would have heard the terminology. Abby is the software where will read the unstructured data. Whatever the
Okay.
data is there, it will scrapping and reading that. But it is not 100% accurate. Some 40 to 60% only it will read the recognized data, even though it is a returned or unreturned or printable format, whatever it may be. So we suggest people that something is handwritten, better to have a unattended mode bot operation instead of going with the attended mode operation.
Okay. Okay.
When we are discussing about SDLC lifecycle of next couple of sessions, probably by tomorrow onwards, that time we will get an idea why I am saying that.
Okay. Okay, Naren. Thanks for that. Let's go on. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So see, till now what we discussed is basically this is RPA roadmap which we will discuss by tomorrow. Okay. And anything related to RPA, do you have any other clarifications or doubts so that I can move into give a overview of Automation Anywhere? Hello guys.
I'm good, Naren. Yeah. Let's go on.
What about others? Ashish, Hari, Kishore, Yamas, Purushothaman,
Yeah, I
Sanjay,
understand
Vijay?
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Fine,
Okay.
sir. Go ahead.
Fine, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Narendra, I have one question.
Go ahead, Purushothaman.
Yeah, what about the unstructured data? For example, if RPA using, but in nowadays market, we are using structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. There are different kinds of data is available in the market. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. You are talking about structured data, unstructured, and semi-unstructured data.
Yeah. So, but we are processing through only structured data through RPA, correct?
Semi-unstructured data in the sense, can you brief about what is semi-unstructured data so that I can give you more clarity?
Semi-unstructured means log files are there. For example, log files. In log,
That and all readable. Log files, flat files, something in CSV, that and all readable. I'm talking about unstructured data, something which has been written in handwritten. Say, take it this way. You made a signature of any of your Aadhaar or any of your bank passbook, and you are trying to upload that into a system. Okay, I'm telling that RPA go and read the signature and you have to match it. Will it possible?
no.
Sure.
Hello.
Yeah. Will it possible, Pushut? It's not possible.
Not possible.
Only that kind of data I'm talking about unstructured. So rest and all is feasible.
So, but I think this is whatever you have told, that is a bit interesting, Naren. But there are so many softwares available in order to evaluate the signatures, like the digital signatures and other stuff, right? So how does those things works? Yeah.
See, that is all comparison, Aravind. Something which you are going to compare. If you go into banking system also, they will verify the signatures. Whatever you have, they will have a signatures as a screenshots. They will verify. Digital signatures will be verified, but not compared or readable.
Okay.
Anything you return, something has been as a PDF, and you will upload it, and that cannot be readable, right?
So you are saying that as an image comparison between
Absolutely.
two images.
Pixel
So
comparison.
my specimen signature will be compared against the signature what I have written. That kind of comparison.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
for that we have separate softwares.
Yes.
Does that feature is implemented in RPA? That's what my question is.
No, it was not.
So, but we can compare the
again,
images. But we can compare the images through Automation Anywhere, right?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, Purushot.
Yeah, Narendra.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so my doubt is for RPA, we are using only structured data means that is very less only, right? But for structured data is in the sense only Oracle data or RDBMS data. This is the structured
No,
data.
no,
What
no.
about
Something
unstructured data?
unstructured data in the sense, see, basically structured data in the sense, see, data which is coming in a flat file will be called as unstructured data, where you can use a pipe delimiter and you will convert the data and you have to feed into an application. When I say unstructured data, something it has been written as an handwritten document and scanned. I'm telling that this is your input feed. Something there is a form 5 for PF and form 16 for something. There is a signature. Or you got my point. You want to compare, or they are manually written and you are uploading into a system. If you go and process with the help of RPA, it is very difficult because all the data are written in a handwritten. That is the only thing. Anything that has been made as a handwritten document, that is called unstructured data with respect to RPA. Rest data and all we can manipulate and we can feed into this RPA system. Purushot,
Okay.
I think I have clarified your doubt, right?
Yes, understood. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so anything you written as an handwriting on a paper and that has been scanned and uploaded into a system, that kind of document readability is very difficult. You can have any kind of unstructured data apart from that. It can be processed with the help of RPA. Because definitely whatever the data which comes, there will be a way of separation. We can do a separation and we can process it. That is not a problem. Clear?
Yeah, clear. And one more thing, if you want to know the RPA, what are the prerequisites required? Means what are the technologies we need to know?
A layman can learn RPA. That is my straightforward answer.
I mean, any basic skills like any.
Nothing is required. Nothing is required. All you need is logical thinking. Why? Because everything I will show you. So that you can understand why I am talking that point. I will show you my visualizing designer now, so that you will understand. Divya, I think newly joined. Hello, Divya. Someone newly joined. Okay, let me continue with Purushot, doubts has been clarified. Do you have any other doubt, Purushot?
No, Narendra. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What about Mutturaj? What about Sandeep? What about Vijay?
No doubt, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So let us get back to Automation Anywhere demo. It is a more structured things, so it is very difficult to explain. It will take another 2 hours. I can go only a technical platform. Okay. Remaining and all in the subsequent sessions I can explain here. Look into this. This is my digital work platform for RPA. There are 3 ways of platforms we have. One is RPA platform, another one is cognitive platform, another one is analytical platform. In RPA using Automation Anywhere, we are using, these are all the platform. If you look into this, say whatever we are talking, rule-based automation, front-end automation, multi-system integration, democratized automation, structured data. Whatever we discussed of RPA, this is my very first platform which will help you to automate using Automation Anywhere. Automation Anywhere is a tool which will help you for automation. Okay? Any doubts? Automation is a platform which will help you to create a rule-based robotics, which I already explained in my RPA introduction. Front-end automation, which I already explained. Multi-system integration, I told you back-end, front-end, how integrated, how we can call that. Even with the help of back-end automation, we can do with the help of front. And I already told you structured data. This is there. Clear? So this is called RPA platform. On top of that, there are few cognitive platforms are there in Automation Anywhere. What is that cognitive platform? Is algorithm based decision making. Something you will get some data. In that data, you have to see some value. If the value is available, you have to make a decision. If the value is not available, you have to make another decision. So that is called algorithmic based decision making. For example, there are three types of accounts are there. One is personal account, another one is current account, another one is sales account. Three accounts are there for an account creation. If employee is asking an indicator saying that E, which is created by personal account. If the P is the indicator, I have to create a personal account. So that is called algorithmic based decision making or not. Based on the data, I will decide which type of account it is. Clear my point? Any doubts? Any doubts? For sure.
No.
Sandeep, MS?
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so that is called. Another one is subject matter expert. There are some natural language processing which has been internally embedded in the Automation Anywhere tool, which will help you. I will show you something like reading a PDF documents. Those are called as natural language process. Image recognition or PDF recognition or text recognition, character optimistic. Those kind of works will be called it as cognitive platform. And now come to the point semi-structured data as discussed by our friend Purushothaman. Purushothaman, did you ask to write semi-structured data?
Yeah.
So see, only non-structured data will not be processed. Be it to be a structured data or be it to be a semi-structured data, with the help of Automation Anywhere, we can able to process. Correct my point?
Yeah.
Purushothaman? Okay.
Yeah.
Now the fourth one is analytical platform, which is basically to decision making. Analytics in the sense based on the data, you have to generate a different type of reports. For that purpose, you have to go for analytics platform. I got my point. So in Automation Anywhere, there are three platforms are available. One is RPA platform, another one is cognitive platform, another one is analytics platform. I will show you all the three platforms in the upcoming sessions. Any doubt in this so far in the slide?
Can you give a classic example for this analytics platform, Naren, in your experience?
Analytics platform in the sense data insights will be there. For example, I can show you in the demonstration, then only you can understand. There are two type of data. When you are installing the software, it will ask you two databases. One database is for RPA, another database is for data analytics, BI. What happened is whenever a bot is running, some variable data will be created into a database which will generate certain reports. Those reports are called as analytical data.
Okay.
See, in BPO, they have MSR report, they have WSR report, they have a lot of reports they are generating, right? Today, how many volumes are there? How many are being processed? How many are successful? How many are failure? Similar way, those kind of data I have to generate and send it to the customer. How many tickets has been processed? Which one has got failed? Which one has got passed? Everything will be analyzed with the help of these bots. Okay.
Okay. So how, I mean, I'm just connecting this with artificial intelligence or something which we discussed some time back. So we understood there are certain limitations in Automation Anywhere. So similar to unable to reading the unstructured data, unable to make some decisive decisions and take a approach. So those are all certain limitations of this bots. And is that limitations are overridden by means of this analytics platform? Is it what that is what I'm trying to understand?
No. That is totally different, and this is totally different.
Okay. So you are trying to say
this
by
is
means
purely
of
a dashboard mechanism.
Okay. So this is a dashboard. This is used for dashboards, analytics platform.
Data analytics dashboard. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think let's discuss more on this when we go on. Yeah. Thank you, Naren. Yeah.
Sure. Who is Mutturaj? Mutturaj?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So next one is know your bot. There are 3 types of bots available in Automation Anywhere. One is task bot, meta bot, another one is IQ bot. So in our session, we are going to talk about task and meta bot. IQ bot, since there was no license and there was no other stuff, so that IQ bot is very difficult to learn. Whereas task bot and meta bot will be taken care in the session. I will explain what is task bar and what is meta bot. Okay. Now this is my product architecture. So before going to product architecture, I can explain how the product does. I can show you. So this is my Automation Anywhere window. How I am connecting this Automation Anywhere is with the help of control room. One second. So this is my Automation Anywhere tool, and this is my control room. From this control room only, I am trying to access all the things. See, today I am just giving an overview. Those who are confirmed from tomorrow onwards, I will try to start the session so that we can go in detail and understand. You got my point. I'm just giving an overview of understanding of the tool. So basically here, this is my dashboard where you can see how many number of bots, everything will be defined as a dashboard here. How many bots run, how many users are available, everything will be treated as a dashboard here. And it is related to everything on the dashboard. Now the next one is activities. How many bots are in progress, how many are stopped, how many are scheduled, and historical data will be there. Everything we can see in this particular activity. Now if you look into here, how many bots are available, how many bots has been created. Look into here, there is a banking bot, there is a financial bot. If you go inside a banking bot, there will be a 2 task bots are If you go into financial, there is a telecom entry bot. So these are all the bots which are already available, which has been created. Or you got my point? So which is available in the control room. Now the next one is credentials. This is the major topic which we need to understand very carefully. Why do I need a credential? Means any application will have user ID and password. Am I right or wrong? Any application. So where you will store user ID and password, will you put it in somewhere else, or it will be stored in this particular area to read the credentials? Or you got my point? For that we are using bot credentials. It is not specific to the particular application. It is specific to the bot. We can create a credential here. I can teach you how to create, how to do it, and it is a algorithmic based hashing technique has been implemented in this credentials. You cannot hack it. Got my point? So all these credentials will be there. The next one is number of devices connected. I got my point. So how the devices are connected. For example, if I have 10 devices are connected and everything having a different licenses, everything will be available here. That is why we will call it as a device related information. The next one is workload mechanism. For example, you created a bot which has some 100 records. Or you got my point? And you are distributed those bots in the 5 different instances. You have to share the workload. With the help of queue, you can implement that. Clear? Any doubt in this? I am very speed or slow?
I think when we come to work in practice, I think we will come to know it a bit more. I will come to know.
Yeah. Because time constraint. Because already we are in 5:30, so another half an hour only people timing has been there, right? So that is what.
Yeah.
The next one is bot stores and downloads. How many downloads are there? Bot stores are there. Now come back to my tool. This is my tool where I can have. This is my client where I can go and play with the automation. I will tell you how the connection will happen, how the infrastructure will be, how the architecture will be in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So how, what are all the environment is needed? Everything will be explained in this. Don't worry about it. As of now, I'm just giving a demonstration.
Yeah, there is some interruptions. You are not audible properly.
So here, if you look into that, this is the place where I'm trying to do a automation. What I will do?
Naren, your voice is breaking, Naren. Yeah.
Breaking, right?
So if you look, now it is okay. Now it is okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay now. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
good.
yes, yes.
Yeah, now it is fine. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I'm clicking on a new workbench. I just gone for a new and I created a small bot. I'm just welcoming you all. See, this is the place where you can have lot of 580 commands are available. You are going to play with these commands for automation purpose. If you see my left side, you can see the list of commands, category wise, view all. If you see the category wise, anything related to program file window, anything related to conditions, anything related to delays, anything related to internet in the sense web application, anything related to tasks or scripts, anything related to any other application like Excel, database, XML, you can use this. Anything related to interactive sessions, miscellaneous, anything related to system like printer, services, SMTP protocol or Active Directory. So anything you want to activate with the Active Directory, or you want to create some users in an Active Directory. With the help of automation anywhere, you can create users in the Active Directory. Got my point? So those kind of commands will be there. And advanced options, error handling, image recognition. We discussed the right image recognition, screen capture and all. So the next one is integration package like OCR, email automation. Terminal emulator is nothing but connecting mainframe systems. I cannot able to show you, but I can tell you the commands how it has been used. The next one is PDF integration. Finally, security features. Those who are working with SAP application, you can also see the SAP plugins, SAP integrations. So these are all the commands which we are using it. Clear? Any doubts? So basically, we will use in this way. We will put it in a view all structure so that it is easy for me to drag and drop. Even if you want to call an Excel, just put ex, it automatically go. I'm putting here, you can search with Excel. Typing with the data, we can search with Excel. So all these features will be happened. Now today I'm just going to use a small message box. Enter. Welcome to Automation Anywhere Learning. I'm saving the task as first demo app. Here, click on run. The bot will run here. If you see here in the right lowest corner, there will be a window called run window. You could have seen runtime window. You can able to see the runtime window here. So here it is automatically opening and closing. Now the automation is over. I got my point. And finally, what I can do is I can go to the workbench. See here what are the app which we created. Our first demo will be available here. Right click. There is an option called upload, but it will not work because of community edition. Privileges will be not there. You can create, but you cannot upload in the server.
Only it will go to control room. Am I right, Naren?
Yeah. The moment when you click on upload, it automatically connect with the control room.
For that, we need to buy the original version.
License.
That's what you're trying.
Yeah, original version and license, and you have to deploy in your server so that the files will be uploaded.
Okay.
So this is the basic introduction of platform. Immediately people are left. Long run, huh? So now tell me who are all interested to continue, so that accordingly reach me out by my number is 99620 Those who are interested, please call me at. Who's that?
Vijay.
Yeah, Vijay, go ahead.
Yeah, what will be the session time every day?
4. This is the right time. 4 to 6. 4 to 5:30 we can have 1.5 hours per day. 4 to 1.5 hours per day.
Actually, our working hours is from 11 to 8 p.m. every day. That's the issue.
Then what is your convenient time for that?
I will discuss you with later on in the late evening today. That will be fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, it's not possible morning 7 to 9. Even my timings are 11 to 8. Morning 7 to 9. Is that?
7 to 9 is 7. Instead of 7 to 9, can you go for 1 hour session 8 to 9 for morning people?
Daily 1 hour. So then
Daily 1 hour.
for how many days?
Then it will extend 15, 20 days. Instead of 15 days, we can continue with the 20 days, 25 days.
Okay. I'll think and I'll let you know, sir.
Okay, please confirm me so that tomorrow we can start because people are waiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
definitely.
Arvind. Okay. So call me by today and confirm me so that we can continue the sessions for tomorrow. Purushothaman, I will call you back. Mutturaj, what about you? Because I'm hearing you for the first time. I never know you. Can we discuss? Can you call me my number or you can provide your number, Mutturaj, in private chat?
Okay, I will call you. Yeah.
You have my number or can you provide me your number by private chat?
That WebEx meeting. That is your number, correct? 9962079612. Yeah.
Yeah. After this meeting, can you call me so that we can discuss?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. What about you, bro?
You're asking me, Narendra?
Vijay.
Yeah, I'll discuss you in the late evening after 6 p.m. or hardly at near around 7 p.m. around.
No problem. We can discuss and we can take it forward.
Yeah,
Arvind, I will call you back in another 1.5 hours, Arvind.
No worries, Narendra. Take your time. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
We can discuss and we can take it forward.
No
Purushothaman,
problems.
Yeah, Narendra.
I will call you, Purushothaman.
Yeah, Narendra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you all. Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
a nice
See
session.
you.
Appreciate it, Naren. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Narendra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Narendra.
Thanks you all.
Thank you.